Welcome to the Real Chat Podcast,
where we talk business, lifestyle, and mindset.
For the modern entrepreneur.
I'm Baxter Colburn.
I'm Allison Elise.
I'm Mandy Wilkie. Let's chat.
Welcome back to the Real Chat Podcast.
What are you looking up?
I am Allie. That's Mandy. This is Baxter.
Hi.
Oh, she's driving the bus.
Look at her. I've never been
Jump
more
in the
proud.
back seat. Rosa Parks.
I started a book the other day.
To the front of the bus, not the back of the bus.
Shoot.
I started the book the other day, and simultaneously 150 of
reading
my
it?
followers also started a book.
Because you're an influencer.
Either listening to it or reading it. I chose to start reading it, and now I wish I would have bought the audiobook instead, but I bought the book for $25 and the audiobook is $33. So I'm just
Did you
gonna
check
read
on
it.
Spotify? Because if you have Spotify Premium, it's usually free.
What book?
Oh, well, that I will. So
wait, Spotify has free books?
If you have Spotify Premium,
I do have
there's free
Spotify.
audiobooks.
I'm
Like,
sure
new
this one's
books.
not.
I'm sure it's not.
But I'm sure at this point, all of us have heard of, seen, or somewhere been around
Seen a t-shirt.
the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins.
100%.
Genius book that is such a
nice way of saying F off.
just like a testament to yourself, a testament to holding yourself accountable, a testament to being the person in the room that is in total control of themselves and never tries to, outwardly project or make someone else do something that they want to do, because the reality of it is that we all have our own expectations of people, of ourselves, of the things that we're doing on a daily basis. And you can literally, as a listener today, apply this to your relationships in business, your relationships at home, with family members that don't live with you. And I think our topic today is really going to speak to just kind of how we are trying to show up in our day-to-day. And I'm assuming both of you have heard of this.
Absolutely,
the Let Them
yeah.
Theory,
Yeah, it's
and
become very
maybe put
popular,
something into
but-
practice. I feel like it's a
Yeah.
trending topic right now everywhere.
Yeah, and I think real quick, for people that don't know
love
what it
it.
is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? The Let Them, first of all, welcome back to the Real Chat Podcast.
Hi, guys.
Allie drove the bus in and
Very quietly.
welcome back. Allie, Baxter,
An e-bus.
Mandy here.
Yes,
and today we're just veering off a little bit on life in general and some things that are thrown at us. But the Let Them Theory is Mel Robbins. If you haven't heard of her, she's a pretty crazy, wonderful, worldwide,
Very, very popular.
renowned speaker. But, and I do not have my cheaters on, guys, but a life-changing tool millions of people can't stop talking about. What if the key to happiness, success, and love was as simple as 2 words? If you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or frustrated with where you are, the problem isn't you. And she has this philosophy of let them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, although I have not read the book yet, I am not an avid reader, but I should audio download it. You're reading it, Allie.
I am reading it right now.
Baxter has not.
Not reading it, but have subtly, accidentally
familiar.
been following a lot of these for the last probably 2 years or 3 years at the most.
Yeah, and it's trending greatly right now, like let them. In the words of Mandy Wilkie, more like F them. But let them, right?
Waiting for
that's,
that book.
That's the concept. Maybe that's the name that I'll land on. But yeah, so the theory is, so I guess one of the things that we wanted to chat about today is, have we had a situation in business, life, general, where we've had to, as entrepreneurs, people in the community, people that are known, hold our tongue, take it in, and just let them say what they're going to say?
Yeah, or do what they're going to do.
Or do what they're gonna do.
Yeah, be who they're going to be. It's really like a testament to shifting back the focus onto yourself and how
Correct.
you deal with things that are going on.
Yep.
Because
in
we
the
can
room,
choose how we
in
react.
your life. You can.
Correct.
Right.
And by the way, I think 9 times out of 10, and this is what I've tried to live by the last 10 years, is if something, it's hard for me to fathom that for 10 years now, I've had to reshift mindset in a lot of areas of my life. But thinking back to things that I used to really take personally, and now I'm like, let them,
Right.
right? Like let them and grow from it. And then how we respond is the only choice that I have. So I can't control what others say.
Yeah.
Can't control what others do, but I can control how I respond. And sometimes I respond differently in my head than I do out loud. And that makes us human.
Yeah, that's called self-control.
I was going to say, I'm like,
That's called being able to
yeah.
control your emotions. And
But it's not easy.
not really.
No.
It's not easy. And there are a lot of times that I want to respond differently.
Yep.
But I think the common denominator here, and this is what Mel Robbins has to say about it, is it's usually not us.
Correct.
If someone is saying something about us, or if someone's saying something bad or something that hurts our character or integrity, 9 times out of 10, it's because something bigger is going on in their life
Yep.
and they're using us as a vessel.
Correct.
Because I think the majority of people are good people. We're not deliberately trying to hurt anybody's business or hurt anybody's character or hurt anybody's credit. We're being honest.
Yeah.
But if people don't like honesty, they got to rise up too.
Correct.
Right?
It's true. I will say this for me personally, the amount of like how much I've focused more, I guess, on this as a theory, I would say has dramatically shifted post getting divorced, right? Like when I was married the first time around and right out of college, I cared so deeply what everybody thought of me. I was working in broadcasting. I wanted to be this figure, right? So I cared about anybody's feedback, anybody's thoughts. I cared what my wife thought. I cared about every single thing, right? So, and let that dictate who I was for so long, right? So like I would lose sleep over that. I would go extra miles that had no necessary reason to do that, but I would because that's what I thought.
Because what other people expected
I thought
of you.
that was going to
say-
make me happy. Yeah.
At that point, you're not living for yourself.
Not at all.
Right.
You're
No.
living for
Usually you
other
go
people.
through rock
Correct.
bottom
Yeah.
and you realize
Exactly right.
what you need.
Correct. So you go, and I know you know this too, Mandy, right? But like you go through divorce, you go through getting literally your entire life ripped away from you.
Entire life
and
is ripped away.
Started over brand new. And you sit there and you start thinking about that, like, okay, like what can I control, right? Like I can physically control what's happening in this exact moment. And then you start to realize, and that comes with maturity over time as well, right? And taking that time to reflect and heal yourself as well. And then you start moving forward and say, okay, I'm going to control one thing at a time. Today, like I reminded myself, I'm a great dad today. Great. Okay, fantastic. I can control that. Okay. And then for business, you focus on, I can make this one client really happy.
I can make this
today.
one phone call.
Exactly, right? So you start taking those steps forward. But I will say, especially in the last 2 years, I feel like I've gotten a lot better about, and I mean, this is nice as caring, like not caring what other people think. Like I care deeply a lot. Ask anybody, I care a lot about people and I love people, you know, with no love in return sometimes, right? Like I care so much about people, but if you have an opinion about me or you have a thought of being disrespectful to me or you treat my family or my business in a way that I don't agree with, I will, not to be a doormat, I will let you, right? I'll let them act that way and I will go and take my time other places, right? I will go to a different business. I will have different friends. I will go on other things because that's not a me problem, that's a you problem.
Right.
And so I need to move on with my life for my own mental sanity. And so I can be the best husband and dad I can be and the best business owner I can be.
That ends up being part of your story too,
100%.
where you grow into this version of yourself through mistakes, through losing people. It seems horrific to lose a person or to lose a client or to lose whatever. But at that same time, and some of those stories are bigger. When you get a divorce, like you envision, when you marry somebody, you envision your
The goal
life
is never to
with
get
them
divorced.
forever. Your goal is to not
Yeah,
get
you
divorced.
don't plan on it.
And unfortunately, I feel like there's a lot of people that can relate to this, that the reason that you marry a person becomes in the way back of your mind when you're married to that person, because as you wake up and you do the same mundane things every single day, there is a sense of blending your lives where you kind of do start to control each other, and there's this like overstep and you blend
And the
into
people that
same
are involved in
person
your
and-
life.
Yeah, and so that maybe is a part of your story, but like that whole concept really, it speaks to how you overcome that part of your life too.
Correct.
Well, and it's interesting how it grows and evolves. And we've recently been talking to the kids about the next stage in our life personally, right?
Yep.
And what does that look like? So if we got engaged and we decided to get married, who do we invite?
Yeah.
And the circle is far different in my life now than it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, my circle was all the way down the block and around for miles radius. And now my circle fits right here in my fist.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's very small. And
But the quality over quantity.
absolutely. And my daughter said something. She goes, well, Mom, if you don't invite them, they'll be offended. And my response to her was, do you know how offended I've been for the last 10 years?
Sure.
Right.
Like, why is it always about them and not about me? And this is the thing. There are some people, like at some point, especially when it's wedding number 2, you got to draw the line, right? 100%. You can't have, I worked with this person once 6 years ago. We're going to invite them. Like we did that once, right? Yep. But I think this is exactly Mel Robbins' theory. If they're not invited and they're upset, let them.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let them sit and stew on why, right? Yeah. And I think that is something that the 3 of us probably have in common, because we want to be liked. We want to be respected. We want to be the tops in our industry.
Absolutely.
I think everybody relates to that.
I would say we go the extra mile, even in the competitive spaces in our industry, to support other business owners. But then we have people that block us. Then we have people that don't say kind things about us. They have people that walk the other way when they see us because they're embarrassed by their actions.
Correct.
We're not, because, and not that we're perfect, because I'm sure we've all fallen short.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we have to look at that's let them. Let them do them, and we're going to do us.
Yep. I had a situation very recently where I was working with a photographer, getting some stuff done with them on a great shoot, and they had just posted a story about the fact that we were together. And somebody went out of their way, another creative in the area, went out of their way to message that photographer and ask why she would be associating with me. And that person was completely appalled with the fact of like, what are you talking about?
Aren't you flattered that someone has that much time in their day?
I was like, honestly, it kind of feels like a compliment. Like, thank you. Like, what? Like, I don't do the same thing as this other creative. Like, yes, we're both in the same general space, but like they do something completely different than what I do. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, it was very eye opening, and because the person sent me the message to the person I was with, and they were like, hey, like, am I missing something here? And I was like, no, like, I don't know nothing about that person. Like, I don't think I've ever met that person in person. Like,
right? Isn't that the best?
So, like, it's just one of those things where I was like, okay, but then you start to wonder, like, okay, like, what is circulating about me around town?
Or why would someone say that?
Yeah, like, just because I chose to spend an hour of my time doing things professionally with this other I'm like, okay, like, it was eye-opening, but I was like, you know what, like, I was mad for about 2 minutes, and I was like, all right, like, let them, right?
Ooh,
like,
but you're doing good. 2 minutes. I would have held on to that for like 3 days.
I'm very public about this. It takes a lot to shake my tree, right? Like, when I get mad, I'm mad. Like, I let a lot of water go off.
Can you imagine a mad Baxter, by the way?
That's what a lot of people, and that's the funny part about it. People like, I don't.
He'll probably be like, yeah, I'm mad at you, with a smirk. And a cute little dimple.
But like, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, it takes a lot, right? Like, I think because of how I was
when
raised,
you've been through too.
But when you've been through stuff, right? Like, you hear the throwaway jabs and stabs when you're getting divorced and all of that, right? Like, and I will publicly say this, my ex-wife and I are on phenomenal terms now, and we support each other very well. But like, I said a lot of things I shouldn't have said to her. You're like, so like, you're hurt, you're tired, you're throwing stuff at each other, right? Verbally, and it's not good, right? So you learn after a while to say, okay, get that off. I don't need that. That's not who I want to be. I don't want my kids to feel like this is who I am, right? Like, I don't want to treat people like that.
And go ahead. No?
I was gonna
yeah, move on.
Go for it. Get us out of here. That's fine.
I was gonna ask a question on that though too. So, in a situation, my personal situation, right, where I've tried to do things right, tried to do it the right way, tried to be respectful, but you're not getting that reciprocity from a person, or that person hurts you, and you want the apology. You feel like you need it. You're never going to get it. Or when do you just brush it under the rug, and when do you address it? Yeah. So give me some insights on that, you guys, because I think there are times when we have to rise above and be the bigger person and be the adult. And then there are times where we need to hold firm and say, no, I'm not going to allow that person into my life without the apology. Yeah. How do you guys recommend moving forward with those? What would you do?
I think boundaries, I've learned a lot of boundaries, like, they're so important and such a testament to self-care, and in business and in personal, and in how you react and respond to the people around you is extremely powerful in finding your peace in your life, which we've spoken on this so many times, that our brands are who we are. They 100%. Are our identity.
Yeah, we can't hide from them.
No. We've talked about how a lot of times when things dig at you, or people are saying things about you, it hurts you to your core, and you feel attacked in a way.
Right.
And it's really, it's really powerful to take what people are saying about you, knowing people are saying things about you or whatever that is. And as listeners, you can apply this to your own life as well. Being able to channel this inner peace and say, like, I'm not going to allow so-and-so to shake who I am, because I know who I am. I know what I'm trying to do here.
You know what your
space.
intentions were.
My intentions.
You know your heart.
Totally. And you stay confident in that. And that's coming from a person that's been very uncertain for 3 years now. I feel like I'm a sign person. A lot of, like, not sign as in like I'm a Taurus, not that. Like I look for signs.
There's a message.
Yes.
I look for signs and everything. Yep. And timing is a lot for me in my life. And ever since I've become a mom for the second time, my life has shifted in so many different ways. And what was once such a control thing, where I felt so in control of certain areas in my life and in my marriage, started to cause divide. It started to unravel, and I started to feel really uncertain about my mental health and about my job, about my career, about how I'm parenting, even down to, like, who even am I as a person? And I've been working so hard intentionally about how I show up every day. And coming from someone who has no idea, I feel like we can all relate to that, where even every single day, small steps every day. Mel Robbins starts with, in her book, talking about the 5-second rule and how that can totally shift your day. And the very next day I tried that and I was like, crap, that actually works.
She knows what she's talking about. No wonder she's got following.
But also, I think it's really important for us as individuals, you don't have to be a business owner to relate to this, to remember that small steps are still steps.
Absolutely true.
And
steps
for me,
backwards are still steps.
Yeah, and for my personal, like, not to make it about me, but how I'm relating to this topic is how every single day I've been trying to become a little tiny bit more in alignment with myself. And all of a sudden I woke up and I felt so alive. Like I felt like I am allowed to love what I love. I'm allowed to take the steps forward to something that I'm passionate about. I'm allowed to make decisions for my children and for myself, whether or not you agree. And that goes for anyone in my life.
100% true.
Yeah.
And I think so many people need to remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In so many areas of life in general.
Well, it's the power of redirecting your energy, right? Like figuring out, like, is there like maybe 3 or 4 clients over the last 4 years that I would love if they called me right now and apologized?
Yeah.
100%.
Would that do something for my mental psyche? Absolutely it would. But at the same time, I know it's never going to happen.
And are you going to fixate on that and let that change your energy?
And if they do, what's going to change?
Nothing, but it would be nice maybe to know that, like, I wasn't the crazy one, right?
Correct.
Like, it's always that
and you
thought
weren't the
process.
problem.
Correct, right? Like, just that little bit of self-reflection on their
I'm the
side
problem,
to be
it's
like,
me.
correct, exactly, right? But you're right, though. Like, you take that energy, you redirect it, and you say, great, like, how can I be better for the next person? So that way the right people are the ones that you're working with. And it's so true. The more and more people that you work with, or the more and more right people that you have, right? Like, I was that person too. Like 10 years ago, like, I was friends with everybody, loved all the people. And now I'm like,
you know the people.
Correct.
But you're not friends with all the people.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I have
you have to earn that
2
spot.
like really good, like, guy friends. Like, it's really hard, I think, for guys to have really good friends. I know
I
women
don't
say
disagree.
that. I know women sometimes say that too. Like, it's hard to find the good girl, but it's true. But like for guys, especially, the older you get, if you're not like that tight core from high school or college, like,
Yeah.
I wasn't super popular. I wasn't super awesome back in the day. Not that I'm saying that I am now, but like, I'm so much more confident in who I am and what I can provide now. So the like 3 guys I'm still friends with from high school, I will take that to the grave, right? Like, I've got 2 really good friends right now, and that's about it. Like, and that's hard sometimes as a guy, right? Like, to be like, okay, like, who can I redirect my energy to, or, you know, for finding the right people to spend your time with.
Well, and I think that's personal, friendship wise. It's also professional. Like,
Absolutely,
who am I going to let into my professional circle? Who am I going to talk to about my good days and my bad days, my successes and my failures, my income and my taxes? And right, you have to have this level of trust that is sometimes difficult in today's world to find. And so you do kind of put yourself on an island, especially after you've overcome an obstacle or overcome a hurt, right? It makes you more guarded.
Especially when it's your like to speak from a business, right? Like you, like the business is your baby, right? Like my baby's 4 years old now, right? Like yours is in high school, right? You've got a 15 or 16-year-old baby now, right?
I got a middle schooler.
Right, you got a middle school. Like, so like
years.
we're all at different stages of like growing and developing and protecting that baby, right? Like you never stop as real life parents too. Like you never stop. You know, you've got two that are in college. You're still just as protective as when they were newborns, right?
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
More so. I'm like, now you can go to jail.
Yeah, it's like more so,
Your
right?
decisions,
So like,
I cannot help you with. You can go to jail.
exactly, right?
So,
You're an adult.
make good choices.
Exactly. But like that goes so far, right? Like at first starting a business, you want to work with everybody and anybody that will throw $1 at you. You're like, yes, absolutely. I'll figure it out. But the more you do it, the longer you do it, the more right people you work with. You're like, I would like 2 of you instead of 50 of you, right?
Right.
Because that is way more worth the mental sanity. I talk about this a lot with family and friends and people in business. I'm like, it's always funny to say, I want to be really successful in my business. I don't want $1 million business because I know what that would cost me, right? Like I would love a healthy $200,000 to $400,000 business that will provide consistently for my family, offer some nice things for us to do, but I don't want to lose my wife and my family for $1 amount, right? So it's always weird because I'm like, I want to be successful, but not too successful, which is a weird thing. And maybe there's a different way to say that,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
I mean, that could be a whole nother topic. What defines success?
Correct.
Is it being known in the community? Is it a dollar amount?
Yeah.
Is it a number of clients? Is it a number of followers?
You see those videos on social media where it's like, I don't know, a mom and her son walking into a field, and it's like, this is
It's always
rich.
a mom and a kid in the field. Like,
This is rich,
Yeah.
right? Like
100%.
this is success to me. Is having
Yeah.
the freedom for me too, even just slowing down, like having the freedom to be with my children, to go pick my kids up, to not have
say
to
the same thing.
have childcare in summer because I have the flexibility and almost an 11-year-old that'll be able to babysit.
Yeah.
But just that, success looks different to everyone.
Correct.
And I also think allowing the people in your life that align with you on what that success looks like so that you can be able to set healthy boundaries around those conversations, around how you're showing up for those people in your life as well. There's so much power in that.
but also people that are going to challenge you to push you to a
100%.
next
so,
level.
yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because
yeah.
I think most business owners, most good entrepreneurs get by with their business doing 80%. And if they would push the last 20, which is the hard push, by the way,
Correct.
that's the hardest things. That's the things you don't like to do, the things you don't want to do, and the things that are going to push the growth.
Correct.
Most business owners, myself included, are comfortable with the 80%. And sometimes I think myself, I'm like, well, I don't want to get to the next goal because it's going to change this, this, and this. Or is it because I'm afraid of failing and I might not get it? So instead of pushing forward,
Right.
I just had this conversation with someone that I coached the other day, and he's working on this big goal. And he said, well, what if I don't hit it? I said, well, if you don't hit it, if you fall short, are you still doing better than what you did last year? He goes, by leaps and bounds. I said, so will you be disappointed?
Correct. Yeah.
Right? The one time I did a full marathon and my goal was 5 hours. I'm not fast. My goal was 5 hours. I finished in 5 hours and 4 minutes, and I was pissed. I literally was pissed. I'm like, I failed.
Wasted 5 hours of my time. Yeah.
So instead of, this is
you
the
just ran
old
a
me,
marathon.
right? Instead of the old me saying, I just did something, the me now would say, I just did something that less than 1% of the world's population completes.
Yeah.
But the me 10 years ago was like, I failed. I didn't hit my goal.
Yeah, because you're your own worst enemy. In the
Right.
moment.
But
You're kicking
now-
yourself when you're down
Right.
instead of...
Now at almost 50 years old, it's changed. My thought processes have changed.
You're almost 50?
I'm 49.
Damn.
What?
Yeah.
You look great.
Twice your age.
Never thought.
No, but I mean,
She could be your mom.
wow. I could be.
Meanwhile, I look like your mom.
I don't think so.
I feel like I look older than
But
you.
my point is as we mature, not only in age, but in our business and in our lives and in
Yeah.
our friendships, I now look at a goal, and if I don't achieve the goal, I don't look at being a failure. I look about where it pushed me out of my comfort zone to try to reach something that I wouldn't have normally reached for.
Correct. I'm so much more confident and so much more willing to do the hard work now in life, right? Like it's not sexy talking about your taxes or unloading the dishwasher at 9 o'clock at night, but that determination of like, I know that this is better for my family, for my marriage, for my kids if I do X, Y, and Z. So why wouldn't I do that? Right? Like, as you said, that 80%, like, no, like, go to the next 20%, right? Like, and
do the hard stuff.
Do the hard stuff.
Do
right?
the extra, 2 extra calls a day or 3
Correct.
extra DMs or
Exactly.
reach out to 5 new businesses. And it's not what we want to do, but it pushes us.
And work hard to be in alignment with yourself and how you
Right.
want to show up in that business so that you can do that 100% or 95% or whatever that is to you for success, and
Correct.
let the people watch that, inspire people, let that be, and just allow yourself to actually fall into that phase of business that you're looking to do, while letting the noise of other people maybe doubting you or telling you that you can't.
Correct.
Yeah, just being in alignment with yourself, I think, is really a powerful thing.
It goes a long way.
So as a recap a little bit to this combo, Allie, if someone in your past or someone in your business life has treated you poorly or crappy, we can all say we let them. But what's your best advice to move forward, or what do you do? Because I tend to, in my competitive nature, say, what can I do to show this person that they are completely wrong? I don't always do that, but that's what my brain says I want to do. What do you do?
So being in business for as long as I have been, I've had a lot of situations where I've been copied, where I've been called out for something. Like, I've been called out for copying, which is ridiculous. I've been like, I know people slide into my DMs, not very often. I don't know if it's
Slide.
Still sounds
Slide
so
into my
stoned
DMs.
to
Sounds
say
so
that.
sexy, like slid in
Slide
slid into my DMs with their keyboard warrior fingers that were like
mean behind the screen.
And it's only been a few times. I've had people do me wrong. I've had people lie, copy me, whatever. Grace, I think I've been able. I'm a huge empath, so I move on from things really easily. I fall in love really easily, not with like people, like just I fall in love with ideas really easily. I'm very passionate.
You're a forward thinker.
I'm a very passionate person when it comes to people and ideas and all of those things. Like, it's part of the reason why I do what I do for work, is because people are just, they're my niche. I love
people,
the brain, and
Good
I love,
people,
giving grace in a moment where they maybe don't need it, but also practicing giving myself grace when maybe I don't need it either, has brought me a really long way in business. It's allowed me to have successes where I literally let people think what they want and I move on with my life, and find times where the conversation is needed. And then when I like literally cross that bridge when I get to it. Like, if there's a time where I'm faced with adversity with a person and I have to have the hard conversation and I have to either take responsibility, own up to it, or I have to say my piece,
address it.
you better believe I'm going to give grace and give respect in that business setting regardless, because my business is my baby and reputation is everything to me. So I feel like not how I look to other people, that's not everything to me. I want my business to thrive, and I want people to know that you can always come to me. You can always talk to me. We can get through anything. I literally have it written in my contract that we would make anything right if we have to. Like, it's not about a dollar amount for me. It's not about
credibility.
It's just giving grace to a person. And I don't really ever walk around in my life feeling like anybody owes me an apology, because they are allowed to feel the way that they feel. They're allowed to move on without saying sorry, or move on without giving credit where credit's due. And they're doing their own thing and they're living their own life. And guess what? So am I.
That's actually great advice.
I don't know if I can do anything better than that.
I have a few people that I feel like owe me an apology, and maybe I need to just be like, actually, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't owe me
And it's
that.
I think it's hard because you maybe relate that resentment to that situation.
And I want them to be better,
to that
right? I
person.
want them to be better.
You want them to see your worth. You want them to understand where you're coming from and give you that credit when credit's due. So that's really hard to deal with. But I feel like when you let go of that, especially in business,
100%.
Because everybody makes so much mistakes in business. And like, we just had a conversation about how you can catch somebody on a really terrible day and then they say something to you and words are forever. Like,
forever.
To me,
words are forever.
Words are forever. And, like, in my personal life, like, action speaks a magnitude more than words do. And for me, like, you can do me wrong, but at the end of the day, I'm going to walk away from it and I'm going to say, that's how they were, that's how they feel. And I'm just going to give them grace, and I'm not going to stir the pot and make it worse. There's no reason for that. Cause what is that going to do?
Right.
It's only going to come back on me.
And I think when we do fall short, which I've done in my business, and a few times been able to go to those people and say, I'm sorry. I'm human.
Absolutely.
I didn't do this on purpose. Like nobody starts their day saying, I hope I upset one of my clients today.
Looking forward to that.
And I think that's a great tip for whether it's entrepreneurs or whether it's people or relationships, to be able to say, like, listen, I fell short. I had a bad day. I said some things I shouldn't have. Please forgive me. Let's move forward.
Sure, take accountability. But at the end of the day, turn it back towards you and if give yourself grace in that.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
And if somebody is accusing you of something or ridiculing you or bashing you, let them.
Yeah, go get that book. Changes your life.
Mel Robbins, we're giving you a shout out. If Mel Robbins would like to sponsor the Real
Or just
Chat
be on the
Podcast,
podcast.
or just be on the podcast, we would love to have her, and we'll let
in
her.
touch.
We'll let her.
Let her.
We'll let her.
I love it.
All right. Well, you'll hear more from us soon, and we will continue to chat about topics that you love. So be sure to share those with us. If you have something that you'd like to know about one of the three of us or our lives or business, we're happy to share. We're kind of an open book. So
Absolutely.
thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.